on the technical difficulties at the Department of Agriculture, Food and Marine preventing the processing of farm partnerships and access to the Green Low Carbon Agri-Environment Scheme for those affected. And the Deputy has 4 minutes.
Minister, I think all of us were very, very supportive of the partnership arrangement for younger and older farm, which is coming into effect, or is to come into effect, as a mechanism of encouraging young people to stay on the land, building up their own entitlements, and obviously bringing the expertise that a lot of them have come through through the likes of Pallaskenry and other areas where young farmers go for farm education. The problem is, as I understand it, is that there has been roughly 800 applications, and apparently only 300 have been processed. And the consequences of that is that if these applications are not processed, it means that it will run into next year, and the young farmers who have not had their applications processed will lose the top-up on their entitlements. And that also means it will affect their GLAS payments, also the higher grants in TAMS, which is very, very essential for young farmers, because availing of the TAMS support and grant system amounts to putting good capital investment into farm holdings. Also, the current partnership numbers that have not been processed means that those who haven't been will not access GLAS within the current deadline of the 14th of December. Furthermore, partnerships that have been created are missing vital information, such as commonage offered GLAS applications, meaning they cannot enter GLAS, and there is no sign they will have their information updated. The loss to the young farmer is going to be quite substantial. And I would hope, Minister, that the delay in processing these partnerships will be dealt with, because it is preventing young farmers applying for those entitlements. I understand that the commuter system won't allow GLAS planners submit applications for unprocessed partnerships. So I would appreciate if you could give me a positive response to the queries asked there.
Right. Thank you very much indeed, and I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity of answering indeed the difficulties which you have outlined, which are there, and I will deal with them later. The mains, I welcome the opportunity to address it all today on the matter of support for farmers and possible issues relating to partnerships in particular. The range of schemes available to farmers, such as a basic payment scheme under Pillar 1 and the area of national constraints scheme and GLAS under the new Rural Development Programme 2014-2020 are vital support for farmers, as you quite rightly point out. In rolling out the new BPS and RDP, I have been anxious to ensure that cognizance is taken of the role that partnerships play in addressing a range of economic and social issues in today's agri-food sector. The main schemes that fall for payment to farmers at this time of the year are the basic payments, the greening and the ANC. Basic payment schemes replace, as you know, the old single farm payment scheme and includes for the first time this year a new greening payment. At present, my department is processing applications for some 122,000 farmers who currently have entitlements under this scheme. The ANC scheme replaces the old disadvantaged area and less favoured area scheme. That scheme seeks to compensate farmers in certain designated areas for the challenges they face due to factors such as remoteness, difficult land types and the poor quality. These farmers tend to have low farm production and higher unit cost of production than farmers in other areas. Under EU regulation, all applications under the basic payment and the ANC scheme must be subject to robust administrative checks prior to payment. The Department's system for processing payments must meet demanding EU and national audit requirements and guidelines. Only valid applications under the basic payment and ANC that fully comply with the requirements of the EU regulation are paid. Consequently, all applications under the scheme are subject to administrative checks. The main elements of these administrative checks is an area assessment. This is used by using the detailed database of individual land parcels. In relation to the Basic Payment Scheme and Agreement Scheme, advance payments began issuing on October the 16th, 2015. This is the earliest that payments can commence for those schemes under the governing EU regulations. In addition, the level of advance payments was set at 70% for 2015 rather than the normal 50%, which was usual, and because that was a concession that was got by Simon Coveney. This increase was one of the key issues I raised with Commissioner Hogan in our discussions earlier this year. Ireland is amongst the earliest to pay the basic payment in the European Union, and to date approximately 122,000 eligible farmers, while for totally eligible there is now 117,380 farmers received total payments of 1.025 billion. Given these figures, I am happy to confirm that my department has been very effective in issuing payments early this year. The figures I have already outlined show that over 96% of applications under the Basic Payment Scheme and some 83% of applicants under the ANC scheme have now received their payment. It is important to note, and I have already stated this, Ireland is one of the first countries to make those payments. In relation to GLAS, over 26,000 farmers have were accepted into GLAS under the first tranche of these contracts, which start on the 1st of October 2015. They will receive a payment before the end of this year. There are a small number, this is where the issue that's raised, there are a small number of partnerships where the entitlement position is not yet finalised, but this does not affect a farmer applying for GLAS. These farmers, in the majority, are multiple partnerships, where 2 or more farmers have gone into a partnership prior or during the 2013 scheme year. These farmers submitted one single farm employment application in 2014, which included all land farmed by all partners in that year. During the course of ongoing processing of the Basic Payment Scheme and the GLAS applications, we have recently been made aware of a small number of partnerships that have experienced some minor delay in applying for GLAS. This is a result of a technical issue that occurred at the Basic Payment Scheme application stage, and we are in the process of resolving these cases. It is not expected that this issue will result in any ongoing delays or blockage for those partnerships wishing to enter GLAS. So you're clear on that now, that we don't intend that they basically won't be holding it up. This is a separate technical issue in relation to the mapping feature in the GLAS online system when processing GLAS applications came to light last Monday. This is being addressed as we speak and will be fixed within the next few hours. Technical issues like this are a feature of any online system and normally can be fixed very quickly. I just want to assure you that they will be fixed before this day is out. I've got assurance from the officials in relation to that.
Minister, I'll ask you just to hold on there and we'll come back to you, because I think you've answered the nub of the question there.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes, for your reply. Like as you said in your reply, there's a small number have been affected, and the number I have is there was 800 applications, but I would assume these would be 2014 applications as distinct from 2013, and only 300, at least 500. Now that could have changed in the last number of days since I've had this information regarding their payments. It's encouraging to hear that this is going to be resolved, and the technical issue in relation to mapping feature in GLAS will be resolved sometime today as well, and that is also encouraging to know. If by chance it isn't resolved by the end of this year, and it will take some time into next year to resolve it, I would hope there wouldn't be any penalties imposed, or there won't be any loss of entitlements for this year to the applicants. I think it's essential that they have the understanding and the certainty that if it's not resolved between here and the 31st of December and runs over, that it will not affect the top-up as they are entitled to, whether or not for these technical hitches. The other thing regarding the delay in processing these plants is preventing young farmers applying for GLAS, because the computer system won't allow GLAS farmers submit applications for unprocessed partnerships. So if the unprocessed partnership hasn't been processed, they can't submit it through the computers. So that needs to be looked at as well. Maybe that's part of the technical hitch. I don't know. If it is, I welcome that. Anyway, thank you for your reply, Minister.
Yeah, just very briefly, 95% of the payments have been made. The Department officials are working extremely hard to try and deal with those. Under no circumstances will anybody receive any levy or anything. If they, I can assure you that won't happen. But people will not be put at a disadvantage because of something that's happening in the department. But the technical things in relation to the IT system just cropped up. In relation to the last point you made about people not being allowed, that is actually being addressed as we speak. Okay, thank you.
Well, that brings topical issues.